Hey friends, how's it going? Ash here with Gents. Hope you guys are doing well. Now, of course, everybody wears fragrances for different reasons. Some people want to have a fragrance that's very unique and artistic, something that's going to stand out from the crowd and showcase their personality in a fragrant form. Other people, I would say actually probably the majority of people, don't give a lick about that, and they just want a fragrance that's going to smell very pleasant to themselves and other people, basically just an extension of what they're wearing in an olfactive sense. Today, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be going over 10 different fragrances that you definitely don't want to wear if you want to come across at least the smallest amount unique in the sense of what you're wearing fragrance wise. Now you can obviously still have a fragrance that's massively appealing to everybody around you that's a little bit more unique, but if you're wearing one of these 10 fragrances, that unique part, that's pretty much right out the window. These fragrances are huge sellers, some of the absolute best selling fragrances on the market today. So let's jump into it and let's check these out. Let's kick it off with Dior's Sauvage, Johnny Depp special. This is the Eau de Parfum. Realistically though, it could be the Eau de Toilette or the Eau de Parfum or even the Elixir or the Parfum, heck with it, the whole line. Not a big surprise that Sauvage is on the list. It kind of has to be on the list. Ever since the Eau de Toilette, the original, came out, it has been a top seller. And for the foreseeable future, it looks like it's gonna keep on being a top seller. It's got that ambroxan in there that's a little bit love it or hate it. The performance here is monstrous. It lasts a really long time. The projection is great. The versatility is there. The compliment factor is there. Bergamot in here along with a bit of pepper and lavender. A really easy to wear fragrance as long as you don't go too heavy in the summer. The type of fragrance that if you spray on too much and it's really hot outside, it can overwhelm other people and yourself. Dior Sauvage, showing no signs of slowing down. Everybody seems to have at least one bottle. After Sauvage, you gotta hit it with its brother, Bleu de Chanel from Chanel. This is also the Eau de Parfum. The Eau de Toilette, though, could have made this list as well. This is Chanel's blue fragrance, just like Sauvage is Dior's blue fragrance, and most people would say that Chanel and Dior are kind of at the upper echelon of the designer realm. So yeah, having Bleu de Chanel in here is also a no-brainer. Bleu de Chanel is a little bit classier than Dior Sauvage. It's not as loud, it's not as aggressive. I do think that Bleu de Chanel is more versatile than Dior Sauvage. I think it's a little bit richer, has a little bit more depth. And for me personally, I like the smell of Bleu de Chanel a little bit more than Dior Sauvage. But if I'm looking for something that's going to really project out there and get more attention, that's Sauvage. If I want something a little bit more restrained, that's Bleu de Chanel. Both of those though, massively popular, the two most popular designer fragrances on the market today. Then we've got Versace's Eros Eau de Toilette, the most popular fragrance from the house today. And this one always seems to be the best seller in the Eros line, the most popular. So this would be the one to avoid if you're trying to come across unique. Really nice fragrance for a night out, good for clubbing. It's very sweet. The performance here is very good. And actually a lot of these fragrances do have really good performance. That's something that a lot of people look for in their fragrance. They don't want something that craps out after 3 or 4 hours. And again, that's gonna be a matter of taste. Some people don't mind and they'll just reapply the fragrance, or they'll bring like a decant with them and refresh throughout the day. Or they just don't mind having something that's a very personal scent, sits very close to the skin so that mainly they can smell it, not many other people. But for the majority of people, they want a fragrance that projects well enough that other people can smell it, and they also want it to be able to last at least through a work day. So that's why a lot of these fragrances here have good performance. It really helps with the selling of the fragrance. It's a little bit harder to sell a fragrance when it's like, yeah, it smells really nice. It's gonna last you about 3 hours though. For a lot of people, that's a deal breaker. So Eros, good performance, very sweet, big compliment puller, great on an evening out, and actually has a lot of versatility beyond that. Dial the sprays down a little bit, and it's a great office fragrance, great casual fragrance, great day-to-day fragrance. After that, it is Acqua de Joe. The original Acqua di Gio. Frankly though, like most of these fragrances we're talking about here today, you could really lump in the flankers with this one as well, Profundo and Profumo especially, because they're quite similar to Acqua di Gio. So even if somebody can't place which flanker it is, somebody still might be able to smell it and say, oh, it's Acqua di Gio or something, because Profumo and Profundo are close enough to Acqua di Gio that even if somebody can't pinpoint which version of the fragrance it is, they can still tell it's Acqua di Gio. Aquatic and fresh, the best selling men's fragrance of all time. That pretty much tells you all you need to know, doesn't it? If it's the best selling men's fragrance of all time, you're not really gonna smell very unique if you've got it on. After that one, Gucci Guilty Eau de Toilette. This one's a little interesting because people in the fragrance community love to hate on it and act like it's an unmitigated flop and extreme failure that nobody likes. And yet it has been a best-selling fragrance, a top 10 best-selling fragrance pretty much ever since it came out. So Gucci obviously doesn't care what any of us have to think because they're counting money all the way to the bank. Now, to be fair, Gucci Guilty is not a bad fragrance. It's actually really nice. It's clean, very fresh. It's even a little bit classy. It's not overly sweet, just the right amount, you know, just the right amount of sweetness to help you get positive attention, because that's what people are after with these fragrances, if we're honest with ourselves here, but not so sweet that it takes away from the versatility of the fragrance. Awesome scent for the office, great casually, great day-to-day fragrance, non-reach fragrance. Gucci Guilty, very solid overall for what it's made to do. I also like Gucci Guilty Black. I think personally I might like that one a little bit more if we're talking about the Gucci Guilty fragrances that are just made for ease of use. Now a newer fragrance, and this one kind of surprised me to see it up toward the very tippy top of best-selling scents. Not because the fragrance line that it's in is bad, because I don't think it is. It's got more wins than it does losses, the fragrance line. It's just interesting to see this fragrance take off more and more at retail settings where people are paying full price for them, not from a discounter. It is Azzaro The Most Wanted Parfum. Now, I've spoken at length about the Azzaro Wanted line. I actually have an Azzaro Wanted buying guide up on my channel, so check that out in case you want more info on the whole line. But with Azzaro's The Most Wanted and then The Most Wanted Parfum, it seems like Azzaro has really kind of distilled this current form or DNA or style of men's fragrances into the perfect scent for getting positive attention. People just seem to absolutely love The Most Wanted and The Most Wanted Parfum. So much so that when the first The Most Wanted came out, I thought it was nice, thought it was good, but it reminded me of other things out there. And so I wasn't really impressed in the sense that it didn't smell hyper unique or anything. But then as I wore it, people seemed to gravitate toward it and say how awesome it smelled, which made me kind of reevaluate and go, well, even though it does have these similarities to other things out there, it's apparently done in a way that people just absolutely love. And so you got to give them props for that. And now this new one comes out, which is even better than the previous iteration, the previous flanker. And so it's not really a surprise to see people scooping this one up. So from one sweet cool weather fragrance to another, this one is not new at all. It is 1 Million from Paco Rabanne, the original 1 Million. This one, along with Versace Eros that we talked about a little bit before, is kind of held up as one of the pinnacle clubbing fragrances, at least as far as men's designers go. The cinnamon in here is really the thing that most people seem to cling on to when they're talking about the fragrance, just like with Eros, it's the vanilla and the apple. Great performance, projects loudly, lasts a very long time. 1 Million is one of those fragrances, kind of like Acqua di Gio, that's just stood the test of time. It came out, it was super popular. A lot of people kind of hated on it, especially because of the gimmicky bottle and the Paco Rabanne nature of the fragrance. With that, I mean, it's just loud. And yet here it is, still selling, people still wearing it. After that, Why Eau de Parfum, Yves Saint Laurent. Gotta put it in here. It's just like Bleu de Chanel, just like Dior Sauvage. This one is YSL's Blue fragrance. It's their most popular fragrance, their best-selling fragrance. And it seems like pretty much every single guy out there, maybe a bit of an exaggeration, but a lot of guys out there have either Sauvage, Bleu de Chanel, or Y, or even all three. So even though just like Sauvage or Bleu de Chanel The versatility is here. You can wear it pretty much whenever you want. Just adjust your sprays up or down, even though the performance is here. The compliment factor is here. All of that stuff that people look for is here. It is far from different. It is far from unique at this point as far as what other people are also wearing. Another Armani is next, and it is Code Eau de Toilette, the original. Now they've got Code Eau de Parfum, they've got Code Parfum coming up, Code Absolu, Code Profumo. There's so many flankers. Frankly, all these fragrances have got some flanker action going, some more than others. This one has a ton, but the original Code still the best seller of the bunch. What? Actually, that goes to show you something, and I've talked about this before in other videos, but it always seems like the first fragrance or the first flanker in a line are the best sellers. It seems to be that people are drawn to the DNA, the style of the fragrance. They really like it. And then, yeah, they may buy flankers or summer editions as the fragrance goes on, but they keep going back to the original that got them into it, which is why you see the original Acqua de Joe still outselling even their brand new releases, because so many people have been introduced to Acqua de Joe from the first one, and they know it works for them. They just go back to it, because a lot of times that's just how life works. Whatever is easy for you, whatever's familiar, that's what you're comfortable with. And it is a really sexy smelling fragrance for cool weather. There's a reason that Code still works so well. Last in the video, this is a newer one, which kind of actually goes right back against what I just said, but not exactly. I'll explain. It's Ralph Lauren Polo Bleu Parfum. So the original Polo Bleu Eau de Toilette, it is still very popular. A lot of people like that, still wear it, but I think it's not all that nice, actually. I think it smells kind of cheap. At this point, it smells like a dated, synthetic gym sports scent. It's not that great. Whereas this one has a bit more depth, obviously much more modern smelling than Polo Bleu EDT. This one obviously smells much more modern. It's got more of a sweetness to it, more depth to it. It's the type of fragrance that can compete with the big dogs out there. This one and Ralph's Club by Ralph Lauren, those two fragrances basically made specifically to go after market share from the YSL Ys, the Bleu de Chanel's, the Dior Sauvages. And obviously it's working if this is one of the best-selling fragrances on the biggest retailers' websites in the US right now. It's a really nice smelling blue fragrance, does everything you'd want a blue fragrance to do, but obviously with everything I've said, you already know, not really super unique. Darn good smelling though. So there we go. All 10 of these fragrances are some of the best sellers right now in the US at retail. And a lot of these you're gonna see a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, still in the top 10. So if that's the case, you know, everybody has it, everybody is wearing it, and you need to look elsewhere. Truthfully though, if you just want something that smells nice, that people are going to like, that people are going to compliment you on potentially, you can't go wrong with any of these. They all pull that off. All right, guys, that will do it for me. Thank you for hanging with me here today. Thanks for your support. Stay safe out there. I'll see you guys tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you later.